This street here is where my 2 times great-grandparents, my great-grandparents, lived and worked over 100 years ago, and my grandfather was born here too. These houses here are all that are left now of the street where my grandparents, not my grandparents, my great-great-grandparents and great-grandparents lived. It's all there is left.
Are those the original houses?
Yes, these are the original houses.
So what's different between those and all the other houses?
All the other houses were built on pottery rubble. So they were demolished, and these ones were kept, and they're now part of the Middleport Pottery Heritage Trail. And the street was renamed as well to Harper Street, so it's part of the Harper Street, part of the Middleport Pottery Heritage Trail. So this is Harper Street, or Albion Street as it was now. And according to a 1907 directory, my great-great-grandfather, Henry Wilby, owned number 29 and number 34, Albion Street. At 29 there was a beer retailer, he was a beer retailer, and at 34 was a grocer's.
So for our younger watchers, beer retailer equals off licence.
Well, I'm going to assume it's that, I don't know. So 29 would have been somewhere up here on the right, and 34 would have been pretty close by, almost opposite, on the left. Now I think, from my investigations, that Henry Wilby's daughter Sarah and her husband Charles ran a grocer's shop at number 34, because in 1911 my grandfather was born there. So it's a street that's had my great-great-grandparents, my great-grandparents, and where my grandfather was born. But completely different now than it was then. Coming back down the street, we can see the remaining houses there on the left, and Middleport Pottery straight in front of us. So a lot of people who lived on this street probably worked at Middleport Pottery. So at the back of the houses, where the yards would have been, and the outside toilet there, and the alleyway, they've got some studios now where you can have a look at the wares in the different shops inside of the houses. This business here that says Burslem Resales and Floors, that's closed at the moment, this was my grandparents' second shop. It's in Brickhouse Street in Burslem. I don't know where the first one was, but my granddad carried on the family tradition of having a grocer's shop, and this is where it was. This is a photo from the early 1960s when my grandparents would have opened their second shop. You can just see the awning of it below the window that says fire accident above. And in front of the shop is a car that's got the boot open, which was probably my grandfather's car, and he'd just been to stock up the shop. This photo's from around the same time period, but it shows inside the shop, which was quite modern for its time in the early 1960s, as it was self-service. And here's a photo of my mother, who would have been in her late teens at the time, demonstrating how the self-service worked. This photo shows the shop after it closed. You can still see the J. Bryant, my grandfather's name, above the shop door. Over here, where all the construction work's going on, that was the entrance to, or one of the entrances rather, to Burslem Market, where my grandparents had a market stall, or rather 4 market stalls running into one that just made one great big long one. This photo shows the entrance to the market that we would have used coming across from the shop after the market had closed. This photo shows the market as I remember it. On the left, you can see the entrance to the market stalls that my grandparents had. And as you came out of that little door that you can see, you'd got the card stall straight in front of you. At the other side of the market stall was a music stall where they were always playing records from the charts all day. So there was always music about. And opposite that record stall was a toy stall. I remember when I was a little girl, once I'd looked at the toy stall, I'd come running out from that market door there, straight across to the shop here, running through the door, go to my granddad and say, "Granddad, I've seen whatever I'd seen, and can I have it?" And sometimes he would make me grovel for a whole 30 seconds before he would pay for it, and I'd be doing the whole, "But it only costs this much," and so on. And what I remember about him in the shop is he'd be in the far corner, which we can't see because the glass is darkened, but he'd be in the far corner of the shop at the back, at the right, slicing bacon. And on Saturdays, he would have me deliver orders for people. So I would come down here with the orders down Brickhouse Street, past the shops here. I'd be walking down here, past the Wedgwood Institute, coming up on the left. And we're heading down to Queen Street. This used to be a really bustling town when I was here as a little girl, when we came up to Stoke to visit. So I used to deliver to shops on Queen Street, and at the end there's the Kismet restaurant, which was there back in those days, and I delivered there as well. It's the Kismet restaurant, a bit closer, where I used to deliver stuff to as a little girl. Still going strong. It's about the only constant, I think, from between then and now. I delivered to other shops along here. Now all of this is part of the structure of the marketplace, and there used to be a shop in here that was a sweet shop, and they'd give me sweets rather than money for delivering. But I remember the ones at the Kismet restaurant were very, very generous with their tips. Now I was only young because my grandfather died when I was 8 years old, so I was only very, very young and just be coming out and doing deliveries for him. You can see here where it's been reconstructed. It's changed a lot since I was a little girl and my grandparents worked here. There was another entrance to the market there. That door there onto Queen Street. It has changed a lot, but things have been fixed up, so it's rising like a phoenix from the ashes.